Jazz 90.1. I'm Rob Linton. Glad to be with you for our live studio concert series tonight. And I'm joined by the leader of this project, Will Zimmer. Will, thanks so much for coming in and playing for us tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's great to be here. I'm so happy.
It's been great so far. It's been a great show so far. So if people are listening and they're saying, who is Will Zimmer and who is this Hangout Theory? Tell us about you and tell us about the group.
Sure. So I'm actually a Rochester native. I went to this very high school.
You say Sperry?
Very high. This Olympia.
Oh, this
Greece
very
Olympia.
high school. I was going to say.
this very high school.
I was like, you didn't go to Rush area.
No.
Go ahead.
I went to Greece Olympia.
Yeah.
From there, I went to Berklee College of Music and Eastman afterwards. And this group is kind of I would say, a combination of our. We've all known each other for a really long time, and I don't think we've ever played. Max and Steven and I have played in a group together, but I don't think Kyle has ever played with us in a group. So it's kind of like musical worlds colliding to make this project happen. And Hangout Theory is the name of the band, and it's also the name of the record that we just went into the studio for the past 2 days and hammered out at Eastman. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
When is that record going to come out?
I'm hoping to release it, at least do a public release around February or March. Just depends on the mixing and all of those things.
Mm-hmm. So when you went to school here at Olympia and you were in the music program, what made you decide to want to get into music professionally?
Well, I actually come from a family of musicians, so I figured that they might kick me out of the family if I didn't pick up the trombone in particular. I don't even remember picking the trombone. I just remember getting one for my birthday and kind of being like, this is what you're going to play. And I was, I just played it.
Sure.
And I had a lot of really good friends at Olympia, particularly a couple of trombone players who I'm still very close with. We played together for years, and then there were a couple people in the rhythm section, and we had a little band that we put together, and we actually performed my first composition ever at a concert at Olympia. It was called Dyslexia.
Who was your teacher?
Jeff Green.
Jeff Green. Yep.
Green,
okay. Yeah.
And if I can share a little story about Jeff Green, my first day of band at Greece Olympia, my friends and I decided that we were going to play a little joke on our friend, and they have these giant tuba lockers up. They don't exist anymore in the locker room, but my friend Jeff decided, he was like, okay, I'm going to go in the locker and just leave the door open a little bit, and when our friend Nick comes out, I'll jump out and I'm going to scare him. And at this point, this is our first day of band. I've never met Mr. Green in my life. I haven't played a note for him. He doesn't know who I am. And Jeff gets in the locker, and I leave the door cracked, and of course it just closes, and I don't know the combination to the locker. So I had to go in front, and rehearsal was about to start in about 2 minutes, and I had to go in front of Mr. Green and say, Jeff Colby is locked upstairs in the locker, and he was so furious. I was so nervous. So that's just a little, fun piece of information.
Your Olympia history.
Yeah, my Olympia history.
That's up in that creepy instrument locker room above the stage, right? Is that the one you're talking about?
That's exactly the one I'm talking about. Yeah. The huge, baby blue lockers.
Yep. Well, listen, as a young musician, as you know, we're doing our pledge drive right now for the radio station. And as a young musician who obviously may listen to other forms of media besides radio, in your opinion, why is it important for people to support radio stations like Jazz 90.1 and this station during our pledge drive?
That's a great question. I mean, just from my perspective as a musician, as a jazz musician, I personally grew up listening to a lot of early jazz and a lot of kind of groove, some would call it smooth jazz, but a lot of music in that genre. And I remember actually very vividly listening to Jazz 90.1 when I was younger and in high school, starting to get into jazz and hearing Art Blakey for the first time, hearing John Coltrane for the first time, hearing Charlie Parker for the first time, and listening on Jazz 90.1 in particular to all of the different music shows. They had a salsa show on Saturdays. They have the polka bandstand show, which I love. They have a German music hour that I listen to a lot. And just being able to get exposed to all these different forms of music is something that you don't get on, clear channel radio stations. They're very monopolized, and they go where the money takes them. And I think the one of the great benefits of a station like this is that it's run here by people who live here, by people who care about the music that's happening. For this concert is a perfect example of that. That we all. Well, I used to live in Rochester, but everyone playing in this room lives in Rochester. You can go out and hear them. In particular, Tuesday nights, Max hosts a jam at the Spirit Room with Steven. It's a very good time. But my point is, you can go hear these musicians, and you're hearing about them right now on the radio, which is something you're not going to get from a more mainstream station.
Thank you very much. Very well said. And we do appreciate your support. If you are enjoying the music tonight and the fact that we are bringing live jazz concerts to you, and we bring big bands and blues and all kinds of great music to you throughout the year, please do give us a call while you're enjoying the concert tonight to make that pledge of support, as we are in the midst of our fall 2019 pledge drive. The number to call again is 966-5299. That's 966-JAZZ. We can take your pledge over the phone, about 90 seconds, and then you could go back to listening to the radio. You can also donate online at jazz901.org. Will, thank you so much to you and the band for coming in and playing tonight. We'll hand it back to you for part two.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're going to continue now with another tune of mine that was not written in a park. It was written in a practice room, entitled We Have Fun.